You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
He is in a special category of Red Raider as a reigning conference player of the year. But if you did not see it come across this week, JT Toppin, an AP preseason All-American, one of 5 names there. And I think in the history of the program, Chris, if my most recent research is correct, I think you've got, 4, maybe 5 consensus All-Americans, AP All-Americans when it's all said and done after the season has been played. But we're talking about Sasser, we're talking Emmett, we're talking Evans, we're talking Culver, we're talking some of the best. And clearly he's got a chance, but I'm just continuing to enjoy seeing him be decorated and have some of these preseason accolades roll in.
Were any of those guys you mentioned preseason All-American?
I did not find that. I did not find that.
Yeah, and that's where this is different.
Yeah.
You haven't had
preseason love for a Red Raider. I wanted to know that answer, so please let us know if you know it out there. But I was curious what that list looks like because you usually have to go take it as opposed to sort of being set up for it, right?
No, you're. I mean, in this sport, you're not getting the benefit of the doubt there. That's why it's like in preseason defensive player of the year, like Jacob Rodriguez. I mean, these are uncharted waters here for all of us that we're sailing through here. But I'm telling you, I think this isn't where it stops with JT. I think there's going to be some preseason player singular of the year accolades. It comes with a lot. It's a lot of like, man, it doesn't matter what he does. He cannot live up to this hype. I mean, this is the kid from Auburn last year, and then Cooper Flag type territory that he's in. He's not a bona fide like NBA can't miss, or he would already be there if that's what some thought. Like Flag has already foregone the rest of his was the number 1 pick in the draft. But this is heavy praise. And there's a lot that I know people don't like about NIL and all the stuff. This is a perfect example of why it's been a great thing, because you keep guys like this around for longer in college where they want to be ultimately. And Texas Tech certainly benefits here. But I can't wait to see what the encore looks like. And I hope people, because he's not going to walk out there and average 30 and 20. Okay, this isn't what's going to happen. I mean, last year it was, 19 and 9 is what he averaged. And so I bet those numbers rise a bit. Some of that will be a bit skewed because of the added competition that they have agreed to play, I think, large in part. And hopefully he stays healthy, and the added weight that he's put on benefits him. But this is a smooth lefty, man, with one of the quickest hands, and like the second jump when he's going for a rebound, and he's just got some subtle nuances to his game that are just fascinating to me, that you have to watch him repeatedly to really appreciate. And it's just very under the radar, but man, it makes him really spicy.
Yeah. And I'm glad we're simpatico on this. I'm glad you bring up the NIL component and the hanging around in college longer component, because that was one of the things coming into this era, I thought, as a Tech fan, was going to be beneficial for a program like Texas Tech if you were in a position to have motivated supporters and resources and all of that stuff. You would be in a position to really see some fortunes change. And I thought for programs of that type of ilk, it could be possible you saw great benefit in players hanging around longer or arriving in the first place coming into it. I didn't know if that was a pipe dream or not, but yeah, we're seeing a little of this, and I'm just sort of still kind of in a spot of having my mind blown. We're talking about another go round with him, because I was as excited just to land him the first time, Chris. I remember having our conversation when he chooses the Red Raiders, and we're talking about, it's going to be sort of a quick stop, quick layover in Lubbock in a way. And then it turned out to not be. So never know what the future might hold for a program that has some proof of performance, but also obviously very motivated support as well.
Well, it's a compliment to the way you're conducting business here. It's a compliment to Grant McCaslin. But keep in mind, when you go back to JT's situation, he was one of the first to commit to where they got a deal done or whatever. I mean, it all happened fairly quickly here when you're trying to put the roster together. And it's important that happened, because then it allows you to go, you want to come play with this dude? Like, hey, Mr. 3-point shooter, how many open shots you think you're going to look when we get to throw in the ball and he's a willing passer that'll kick it back out to you? I mean, so it was a key piece to the puzzle very, very early on in the roster building phase of what they did to try to put this team together. But, credit to JT and then Coach McCaslin and staff, and then obviously the way you're conducting business here with the resources available. So I'm just thrilled to watch JT 2.0, kind of in play here.
Man, and I know we're running thin on time, but I'd be remiss if we didn't bring it up and I texted you about this. I'm like, what am I missing as far as a qualifier or something here? Seeing a ranking, I think, from Andy Katz, and this is going to help JT, of top individual defenders, and he's got a guy in a Red Raider uniform in his top slot in Luke Bamboye, whose name may be just unknown to some Tech fans right now if you hadn't really been locked in. But, Chris, that front court defensively, I'm hoping, is maybe an animal unlike we've ever seen, and we've really seen some monstrous defenses here before. First, today's episode brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. We all make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. And with football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. You're going to love how easy and simple it is to use. And of course, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today and use our code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. With Prize Picks, run your game.
The most stunning thing about that list, because you're talking about a list that came out late last week. It was a top 10 defenders in the country list, as you mentioned. It was a graphic, and Luke Bamboye's name, he's the tops, according to Andy Katz. Andy Katz talks to everybody in the sport. He knows ball. I mean, he's covered this thing for a variety of different ways, and I think now he maybe even technically works for the NCAA, or I can't remember if he does stuff for ESPN, whatever. Anyway, Coach McCaslin's been on this podcast a variety of time. Coach Beard used to be. I mean, anyway, he's been around a long time. But the most startling thing about that list is that Joseph Tugler was third. And for Luke Bamboye to be ahead of him, stunning to me. Joseph Tugler is a dude times 10 when it comes to the defensive end of the floor. And for the thought that Luke Bamboye could be better than him, damn, man. I mean, that is heavy steps, Patsy. And it's he didn't have the biggest numbers last year. It's a lot of this is analytically based. It's based on, okay, let's take these numbers and let's stretch them out to where if he was playing this many more minutes, but let's put him into the equation of he's doing this in this many minutes with these people around him and all the things. And we'll see if it turns out to be right or wrong or slightly wrong, whatever. The point is, this is worlds different from a rim protection standpoint than what you had last year. Okay, that point needs to be mentioned. This is a true shot blocking rim protector, whereas Federico was a role player, a lob threat, a great team guy, would do anything for you, would do it with a smile on his face. He played hurt, but this is more of a defensive specialist that is a lob threat, but he will alter the way things go on defense. I will say he's a bit dinged up, or has been recently. I think he's supposed to be fine, but I'm not trying to ramble on here. But yeah, man, damn, that graphic was like a shock to the system because Tugler was number 3. I mean, I can't get over that, but I'm here for it. Sign me up. But this is also
Well, it reminded me, tell me if I'm wrong, but it reminded me of us talking about apparently the great effort or great lengths that Texas Tech was going to try and bring him on board. They really wanted this guy.
Correct. And this is where you're outside. Okay, so you think that Federico is done, and then it's not. And nobody can really, like, what is going on? I thought everybody's simpatico, same page. I mean, you remember going through this journey with me on these shows, and we're trying to figure out. And then it wasn't, and then it's like, okay, he's out of the picture, and then the focus turned to this one, and you start to hear about dollar figures and this and that, and they were really wanting to go all in here, and it wasn't met with like a ton of fanfare by the fans, because you just go look, hey, let me Google Luke Mamboya, let's look at the stats, let's see what he did. He didn't play a ton of minutes. Oh, he's got some blocks. He doesn't really score this and that. But I'll tell you, if you trust the outside entities of the analytical people that are helping construct your rosters, or pointing you, saying, if this is what you're looking for out there, this is the fit. And it's the same company individual that's kind of helping football, that's doing basketball. And I think they really said, if this is what you want, here's your guy. Like, go figure it out. But I'm pointing you to, and so I think you're like, okay. And so that I think a lot of the analytical data really suggests that he could have a really strong year, even as much as a role player could. I just think a defensive presence. Apparently he's a great kid, very talkative. They've tried to put on some weight on him. You just got to get him healthy and turn him loose, and we'll see what happens. But I'm here for some rim protection, man, because it cleans everything up. It's like a quarterback in football. They can mask a lot of deficiencies, and it allows you to play much more aggressive on the perimeter, because you got help behind you that can clean up your mess. And it's fun to think about.
I'm sorry to get us a little sidetracked here at the end, but I'm licking my chops thinking about this defensively. When we're talking Toppin, I know what he can do offensively, and it's a lot of fun to watch, like a jackpot. But defensively, I mean, he could be a part of what is a different kind of animal than what we've seen in a long time, or maybe ever, with some of that rim protection we're talking about here. So looking forward to finding out November 4th, folks. And yeah, I think November 11th, Champaign, Illinois. Get ready. It's just around the corner. So looking forward to getting there. Okay. A bucket of variety on today's program, Chris. Enjoyed it as always, man. Appreciate the insight and the time, and we'll see you for the next one.
Keep hope alive, people. We'll talk to you next time. We covered a lot there, boy, but that was a lot of fun, man. It's all just kind of coming together, all just happening at the same time. November is almost here, and it's a bit stressful and fun at the same time.
I mean, it's early in the week, and the bingo card is still fairly full, I would say. If we've already talked tortillas, Bamboye, AP preseason All-American. I don't even know what else we covered so far this week. So I hope you caught up with all of that. If you did miss the tortilla convo in depth, stern but fair, between Chris and I hope you'll find that on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks to the everydayers for always riding along, and of course the Matador Mob as well. Hit our show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial if you're interested in joining that crew. That's your direct line to Chris and myself, with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. And get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss a thing. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time, and I hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.